Hi, my name is Garrett. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. Today we're talking about my favorite songs from November of 2020. November has been actually a pretty solid month, especially on the content front. I feel like I did a bunch of different album reactions to some underground projects that I wasn't necessarily in a different world and a different timeline paying attention to, and I'm glad that I did because I really found a lot of great music, and actually a lot of the songs on this very video are going to feature tracks from those projects. So if you'd like a more in-depth analysis or even my first reaction, you can go check out the album reaction / reviews on screen right now. All these projects were fire this month, all of them. So far, I feel like this has been a solid month out of the year. There's some months where I would have a harder time, I feel like, actually fulfilling a complete video just based around the best songs of the month. But with 2020 November, you know what I mean, we're coming through strong, and I hope to actually make this a monthly series on this channel. So if you do enjoy this video, I would appreciate your like. If you dislike it, go ahead and do so and let me know in the comment section below why do you hate it. Why do you hate me, man? Just be honest. Say it with your chest. But without further ado, the first track that we're going to talk about is Zaloopers' song Just Me on this most recent project that just released a few weeks ago by the name of Valley of Life. And this song in particular, it might be Zaloopers' best track. I think this is the most digestible track that we've seen him from. It is riddled with this like R&B sample that really does add a support to the level of like replayability to these tracks. With this one in particular, Just Me, I feel like you're seeing Zaloopers attempt a mainstream sound, but he's tackling it in his own creative Zaloopers-like way, and that is something you have to tip your hat to, and it really does shine on the artistry and professionalism that does just ooze out of this guy easily. And if he wants to make a song that seems quote-unquote normal to the average listener's ears, he could do that and just pull it out of his back pocket without really thinking about it. And that's kind of what Just Me shows, is while we're still always going to get the wild and crazy and creative Zaloopers, if he wants to, he could just make this safe, easy to listen to music. Easy as fuck. Zaloopers, shout out to you. That song was fire. Kenji is someone who I really didn't know prior to November of 2020. Basically, the internet money camp has found another one who is just, I think, gonna be a star. I really do, with this newest project that's called Pistols and Tears, or Tears and Pistols. I think it's called Tears and Pistols, and the song is called Pistols and Tears. That album, full reaction on this channel if you want to go check that out. Loved it. I think that there's something so special about Kenji. It seems like he can easily just pull together these sing rappy songs that are at first listen sounding like they're the most catchy thing in the world. Like, there was some tracks on that reaction where I feel like I was singing along halfway through the song because of how catchy the hooks are, and just how much like pain and angst and like wanting to succeed that just bleeds out of this guy's vocals. It's something that I'm definitely going to be paying attention to, and I think Kenji is someone that we shouldn't be sleeping on. And November of 2020 is the thing that gave us that, so shout out to that. Tom the Mailman is somebody who I'm a huge fan of. Ever since like 2018, I want to shout out. Lil Tommy popped up, the music video just popped up on my recommended, and that was like one of the first times where I was like, YouTube can recommend some really great music videos if you train it enough and you whip it enough, man. Like, it'll sometimes turn out some great shit, and that's where a lot of the music that I've been listening to recently I feel like has come from. But with Tom the Mailman, this new song Faceless, it's really just, again, he's been on a roll. The last 3 albums have been amazing, like, and just every single has a lot of weight, has a lot of power. It feels like Tom the Mailman right now is making the music that everybody else wants to like make. Like, a lot of people would try to make this easy going, just feeling music where it hits the rap fans, it hits the R&B fans, it hits the occasional rap fan. It's really rap music for everybody. It's like Coca-Cola, man. Like, you could pass it around and everyone knows what the fuck is up. Like, everyone knows what the fuck that is. Like, it's nomenclature at this point. And it's not going to be long to where Tom the Mailman will have the most outrageous brand deals with the most family friendly like brands. I feel like he's so wholesome, man, and you can't help but just want to see this guy win. Faceless has a music video by Daniel Jordan K of the Overcast channel if you would like to go check that out. I enjoyed that music video, definitely worth your time, and I think that we're just on the precipice of any time now Tom the Mailman's gonna be blowing up to the degree that we're seeing like the likes of Jack Harlow do, where Jack Harlow just got nominated for a fucking Grammy today, and that's wild. Like, that is insane, especially as someone who's like been making videos about that guy for 2+ years. Like, to see Jack Harlow get Grammy fucking nominated, you can't help but just want to see him continue to win. And I think that Tom the Mailman falls in that camp where, again, you want this to happen. You want the utmost success for this guy because he deserves it. The fan base is wild. The way that he interacts and appreciates them is wild. Like, he's one of a kind, and as long as he keeps doing songs like Faceless and giving us great visuals to accompany them, I don't think that there's gonna be any problem of finding that mainstream success. Like, if there was an artist that I could bet on at Vegas to be like, who will be bigger than Drake, I don't know if anyone will be bigger than Drake, but if there was one person to put that money on, like, Tom the Mailman has the potential to hit all of those markets and capitalize almost greater than a lot of things that Drake has done. Like, Tom the Mailman is the guy. Like, he's most valuable player every year until he's just the fucking top man taking over the whole game, to be honest. But yeah, Faceless, great track. Go check that out. Don't sleep on Tom the Mailman. That's just one of the great mantras of this channel is just don't sleep on Tom the Mailman, please. Next track number 4, greatest track of this month. None of these are fucking in any order. They're just my favorite tracks. But EricDOA had an album by the name of COA. Please go check that out. There is a reaction on this channel if you need to go check that out. I'm there for you if you need it. But EricDOA, there's so many tracks on that thing that really shows the potential and longevity of what hyperpop could be. Like, ever since 100 Gex, like, I called that meme music in the fucking review that I did because I didn't know what to call it. Like, I had no idea, but it seems like hyperpop is a genre. It's something that we've seen riddled across like other poppy styles, with whether it's even in some random Doja Cat songs or break-ins. Glaive is somebody who's coming on the scene with like definitely taking influence, but EricDOA really just dives in head first on this album, COA, and it really shows that there is something there with this genre, and these collective of people really do have something to say, and it isn't so much of a gimmick as something that I'm excited for. And this is the album that really teetered that, like teeter-totter, where I was like, I don't know if I can listen to a full career of something. Like, when I go into 100 Gex projects from now on, like, because they're so wild, like, I can use them as an experience, but not necessarily as something that like I'm bumping in the car by myself, like after the third time hearing it, if that makes sense. But with EricDOA, there's something so solid and so like full of heart, again, that like you really can see the potential of this genre. And I'm excited to see how the sound expands and how it evolves. And the features between Grandma and Break-Ins on this project COA is something to stand for. But really, if I had to give one of them the golden crown, the one that I'm saying is the best track of this month, I would give it to 2008, which is the intro track on that album. So if you do want to check it out, I recommend just playing the album, letting that first track 2008 play through. It's literally like a fucking boom tube of glitter where you're just transported into this other realm where things move at a different vibration. And that song alone will give you the idea of what I'm talking about, where it's like, it's a different experience and it's a different thing, but it also musically has a lot of foundation that is embedded in what we would traditionally identify as great music. So it's like, while it's wild and crazy and at a different octave than a lot of things that we've heard, and the heavy use of autotune really makes our brains think that we should really think about this before we just say it's great music. But in the end, at the end of COA, like, that's a 30-minute plus album where you're just like, okay, no, this is wonderful. This is something here, and it has integrity. EricDOA is someone to pay attention to, and I don't think that we should be sleeping on him at all. Final track that I have to mention for this month is Meet Computer. Meet Computer is somebody who is on the come up and really also hand in hand with EricDOA does a lot for that hyper pop sound, but Meat Computer is on this other wavelength, and there's nothing truly like him. It's like Young Lean and 645AR just had a baby. I don't know. It's something that you have to check out. There's a new video called Running Away From Myself on the Astari music video channel, so go check that out if you would like to. It's one of my favorite tracks of this year, but as well as this month. And it's not even the best Meat Computer track that I would necessarily recommend to my friends. It's just so different that you have to identify it. And right now, Meat Computer is a big thing in this household. Me and my roommate, Babyflex Films, go follow him at Babyflex Films. We're just over the moon on the fucking Meat Computer shit, man. It's something, and it's something. You have to check it out. Please do. It's one of my favorite tracks of this year. I don't know how to describe it. I'm definitely going to have a different video on Meat Computer in the future, whether it's a reaction, I'm not too sure, or multiple. There's a lot to unpack there, but please, just as an introductory track, I think this one is a decent one to actually jump into. To run those down, the loopers, Just Me, Dro Kenji, Hey, Tom the Mailman, Faceless, EricDOA, 2008, Meat Computer, Running Away From Myself. Those are the 5 tracks that I would recommend most from this month, November of 2018. As far as honorable mentions goes, there's a guy named Harper. He put out a song called Archon at the beginning of this month, and I really enjoyed that thing. Harper's someone that I want to make a video about. I'm still trying to digest all the music. It's like Suicide Boys and Ramirez and a lot of other scream rap styles just kind of blended into one. It takes the best features of all of them and kind of just implements them into one vocalist, which is the talents of this guy is technically smooth, technically sound, and there's a lot in there, man, and it's worth unpacking. So that's in the process, but I do want to shout out that song as something that I have been enjoying this month. Maddox is somebody who I definitely haven't talked about enough on this channel, but I do have a video coming soon. He just put out a song called Dazed. That is the different Maddox than we've heard. He's no longer 12, he's like 16 to 17 if I had to guess, and there's a vocal change coming via like puberty and whatnot, but the way that he's using it, like the way that like 15-year-old voices would crack, he's still maintaining a level of artistry, but there's like a different level and layers. It seems like he's growing up, and this is the first song where I felt like that was actually ringing true across the whole thing. Like the point of the song was to say like, hey, Maddox is growing up in a lot of ways, and it standed true. And I think that this is something very interesting, and I'm excited to see how it implements. It's not necessarily like the best track of the month, but it was something that stood out that at the end of the month I was still like, okay, you know, I have to at least put a bookmark in this point in time to see how it progresses for the future. Another song is Casanova's Virgil, which features Ugly God and Duke Deuce, and I want to like this song so much more. Ugly God has the best hook, arguably, of the whole month on this track, but the rest of the track, particularly the verses by Duke Deuce and Casanova, are just very subpar, that unfortunately it's hard for me to give it like the same praise that I want to, and you know, that's just for what it is, that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know, I really like think that this beat is hard. I think the music video is great. Ugly God has A+ performance. Like if this was just Ugly God and everybody else got cut out, this is the best track of the month, no fucking doubt. But unfortunately, there's just a lot of fat that you should cut out, like, to be honest. And it's Casanova's song, unfortunately. But this song, Casanova Virgil, go look it up, because Ugly God is back, and Ugly God is someone to fucking keep an eye out on if this is any indication of what his own music will sound like. It's so unfortunate that this is a fucking Casanova song, because I would argue Ugly God is on like 60% of it. Like, it feels like just an Ugly God song. So something to look out for. Lil Ricefield is someone who had a great debut EP this month. I just put out a whole reaction to it. I think it's by the name of Kamikaze or Omakase, and you know, I think that this is something that it's basically like Bay Area music, but with a high emphasis on the aesthetic of like Japan, because this guy is Asian and possibly even Hispanic, because he has like even Latino flares on one track that like where it's full on he's singing in Spanish. Like there's a lot in there, and there's a lot of culture, and it's all being blended, and I think it accurately shows what the streets of San Francisco feel like when you walk through them, where there is a lot of culture that is just embedded, whether it's in Chinatown or just other areas, to where you can experience a wide variety of looks and people all within one city in California. So it's something to keep an eye out on as far as what's going on. The track that I picked out on this project that was one of my favorites was the opening track, which is Let Me Know, LMK, and it has a great music video if you'd like to go check that out. I just think that this track really shows like the different style. Like, it sounds different than the rest of the project, but it shows that this guy has a lot to unpack, and it's only getting into the start of it. He is signed, and this EP, for a debut EP, it's short, it's sweet, it's perfect, to be honest. So again, check out Lil Ricefield, Let Me Know, one of my favorite tracks. But those are my honorable mentions. What are your favorite tracks of this month? Let me know in the comment section below. Did I miss anything? Did I skip your favorite? Please let me know down there. If I did earn your subscription, that would be awesome. I hope I did. You can follow me on Twitter at YoGRRT, YOGRTT, Instagram as well. Now in rotation on those two platforms as well. Take care of yourselves. And that is all, you beautiful folks.